It's a live set of music in studio from Stephen Malkmus, our guest in studio this morning, and I'm happy to say that we've been thinking about trying to get him in, and we've been talking about trying to get him in for a while, and it all lined up today, and he's actually here with an acoustic guitar, which is kind of a treat for us. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Nick.
Tell me a little bit about that guitar before we go any further. You borrowed it. I want to know why you have a borrowed guitar in the studio this morning.
Well, we don't travel with acoustic guitars, and then we got a quote, which was the price for a pretty nice steak dinner for two.
To rent something.
To rent one.
Yeah. So
I called my friend and an up-and-coming screenwriter who lives in Koreatown right off Wilshire, which happens to be, we're staying at the Radisson there. I can divulge this now because we're not there anymore. But and we literally walked down there, and he handed it off and went back to his computer.
Well, thanks for coming in and bringing the guitar, whoever it is. Obviously, let's talk about the record. Now, this is the third Stephen Malkmus record as such, is that right? And this one is under your own name. Tell us a little bit about this record. When did you make it? Where did you make it?
I made it at home. I live up north, and I amassed some recording gear over the last 12 years, really, that I never focused on and got up and running. And I bought this kind of rambling Mediterranean LA style house, and when I was kind of uptight about the house, but I thought if I make a record in there, even if I don't like it, I've had this buyer's guilt or something. When you buy it, you're not sure you like it. I'm like, if I make a record in there, then at least I did something in there besides living there. And so I had this focus that I would do that, and I finally got around to it. It took about 6 months.
So that was kind of like, okay, it's a studio now, so I can feel
exactly. It's a workspace too, and it's not just a asbestos-ridden, leaky roofed,
but sprawling
Mediterranean house that shouldn't be in a rainy place.
Have you ever recorded an album in that kind of those circumstances before in a house? Have you ever done that where you've sort of collected stuff into a house and made a record, or is this the first time?
Yeah, not my own stuff. I've done some records like down in North Carolina with Mitch Easter. Him did REM, and he has that set up, but it's more, it's wired for recording, and it's spooky, gothic angle. This is just a basement, with like beer bottles on the ground and stuff.
How did you discipline yourself to do that? I know some people feel that they need to go into a studio where they're paying, zillions of dollars, because then it makes them work quicker to get done. I mean, how do you discipline yourself where you can basically get out of bed? Yeah. You're a dad, right?
Yeah, so I wasn't then, but I think for me it was just learning. I mean, I was just making my way through learning about the recording stuff, and I just took it as sort of an experiment, not as I wasn't thinking this is an album, it has to be done, or this is a big statement. I thought of it more like, I get to try out all these toys and see what comes of it. So the hard part, though, I agree with you, is finishing and committing to finishing it, something like that. And that's when I brought in some outside help to mix it with me and in a real studio, because then it becomes real or something. Before that, it's just like some Frank Zappa, down in the basement, millions of rolls of tape or something. That can happen to a lot of people, especially with Pro Tools too. I had a tape machine, but when you have the computer stuff, you can just never end.
You can just go on forever.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about tape costs or all of that stuff, and it's all sort of filed there. You can find it easily. It's not like pulling a tape out and I wonder what's on here. You've got the stuff, right? Although I would imagine you can probably get lost in on the hard drive as well. Stuff can go missing.
Yeah, no, people, they crash, that's why a lot of the new engineers are balding from just fear of pulling their hair out, from fear of losing things, digital stuff.
Whereas all the old guys who were doing it in the 70s have still got long grey hair.
Yeah, long grey hair and lung cancer.
So can you tell us about this collection of songs? I mean, how has the solo material evolved, do you think, over those couple of albums to this one? And can you give us a feeling for what this record is about for you?
Well, I don't know about evolution within one species of me, it's still, I feel like I'm still in the same generation all the time. That, if it was, so I feel like I'm still in the same pool, but within that, I suppose the first one was very flip and light in a certain way, and the second one was darker and jammier, and this one is I don't know, more basement. You know, it's a sum of its parts. It's got a more thrashy basement attitude, I think, and more DIY, do-it-yourself style recording.
Does that kind of connect back to Pavement in some way?
Well, I think it all does. I mean, it's still the same person writing the tunes, and it's hard for me to differentiate between it all, really. Obviously, the times were different then, and I was younger, and I was more full-time jammer back then.
How do you see yourself now?
A little older and a less full-time jammer, but you know, we're still out there. You know, we're here. The band, me, you know,
and the jig.
Part of the.
Well, how does it feel now going out and playing these songs and being, what, 5, 6 years removed from the Pavement stuff, and 3 albums away from that, and going out and playing? I mean, obviously you've got an audience that comes with you from that time, but you're making new friends along the road as well, I'm sure. Yeah,
surprisingly we are. Some people are able to just connect with it without that backstory. That's nice, but it feels pretty good on this tour. We've had, you know, a lot of people coming by our standards, so that's good.
When you play the songs acoustic like you're doing it for us today, is this pretty much how they were written? Does it strip it down?
Not really. I'm going to try and play some of the ones that are more, that can be approximated that way, but I'm pretty much don't feel confident in this realm normally. Although, like many people say, you don't know your strengths or something. Many people who would like our music would like to hear it this way too. You know, it doesn't matter if you don't think it's very good or something. So I always tend to make things sound like a simulated band with different parts played. You know, masking that it's one person or something. If that ever happens. So this is rare for me.
What else is going on for you this year? Obviously doing this tour now.
We're going over to Europe. We have action there.
Festivals, that kind of stuff? Or
not summer style. We're going to enjoy the summer up in Oregon. You really got to take it when it's there. So we're going to do that. But in September, we're going back over to the UK, and things are going pretty good over there. So we'll play there in Scandinavia. They like the jams. And after that, maybe Australia in the winter, our winter.
Well, thanks for taking the time and the tour today to come in and play for us. We should point out that we recorded this a couple of weeks ago, and Stephen Malkmus is with us in our studio. The good news about recording it, of course, is that there's not that pressure to deliver live, I hope. A lot of times when we record things, people feel a little more relaxed about it.
They feel more nervous. It would be the same for me.
It would be?
Yeah, because then I'd know it was gone, too. Like out on the... Although I know people save stuff, and you guys... or satellite broadcasting to, you know, to Antarctica.
Whoever will take it, yeah.
Yeah, so that can make you uptight. But, you know, I don't think we're going to run back over any of this stuff, people.
Well, here it is. We're going to throw it back to Stephen Malkmus. He's live on Morning Becomes Eclectic.